Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is the Mucking Fun Day. Yep, I hope you had a good weekend.
Yeah.
I think for some people it's still even Easter. It's the second day of Easter, so we actually have a day off again here in the Netherlands anyways. As we cover what things happened over the weekend, there is a lot of stuff that happened, actually. Not the end of the world. A lot of people were panicking on social media. There was going to be some sort of end of the world Russian-U.S. collaboration, but that did not occur yet, I'm sure. This is Before Coffee, the father and daughter comprehensive news of Planet Earth podcast, where we look up our stories 10 to 15 minutes before we started, and we haven't had any caffeine. That's why it's called Before Coffee. We rolled out of bed just to deliver these stories right to your doorstep. So let's get into these headlines. Today on Before Coffee, nearly 3,000 Russian ceasefire violations reported from the front line during the Easter truce, Zelensky says. And Dutch leader of the party in fragile ruling coalition quits politics, citing burnout.
This is Roger from the United States. We're reporting on the Pope has died on Easter. Plus, Secretary of Defense Hegseth shared airstrike details on his second signal chat.
Romania's presidential election redo is a high-stakes test of its democracy following the annulled vote.
And in science news, dark matter may be a frequency, and we're about to dial it in.
In my culture news, let's go over the drama with The Who firing their drummer on stage and then rehiring him today.
And it's National Chocolate Covered Cashews Day, and I happen to have a giant bag of them.
Really? Wow, lucky.
I legitimately have a giant bag of chocolate covered cashews for April 21st, 2025 on Before Coffee.
That is crazy that you have the chocolate cashews. I couldn't have planned it better.
Grocery store where that thing distributes all your candy and
Yeah.
you pull down the thing and it pours into a bag. Well, I pulled it down. They just kept coming and coming. Oh well, I guess I'm buying all these.
I'll have these for months.
4 pounds of.
Yeah.
4 pounds of dark chocolate covered cashews. So I'm good for that. I'm good on cashews for the summer, I think.
Yeah, they might melt together into one big blob at some point, maybe.
Yeah, they melt in your hand, so you gotta eat them fast.
Alright, let's start with the first segue we'll turn for our first stories on this Mucking Fun Day. Give me a non sequitur, either between my two stories or after both of them.
Good thing about non sequiturs, they don't have to apply to anything.
Yep. Alright, this is coming out of, Ukraine on the Kyiv Independent. Multiple Russian ceasefire violations across the front line have been reported since an Easter truce was declared by the Kremlin and President Vladimir Zelensky on April 20th. Russia's Easter ceasefire was supposed to come into effect at 6 p.m. on April 19th, last until midnight on April 21st, just today, so it was supposed to last until April 21st. With Russian President Vladimir Putin claiming it would test Ukraine's sincerity in pursuing peace talks. As of 1:55 a.m. local time on April 21st, Russia has violated the Easter truce nearly 3,000 times, Zelensky said. The military reported 96 Russian assaults on Ukrainian positions, 1,882 instances of shelling, and 950 uses of Russian first-person view drones. The president said, citing a briefing from Commander-in-Chief Alexander Syrinsky. In fact, all of the main directions on the front, Russia has not kept its own promises, Zelensky said. Early in the day, he reported that the armed forces of Ukraine had observed an increase in Russian shelling and the use of kamikaze drones since 10 a.m., with the use of FPV drones doubling. Russian forces carried out 26 assaults between midnight and noon on Easter Sunday, Zelensky added. The Russian military is reported most active in the Pokrovsk and Siversk directions in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk Oblast. The president said that Ukraine's steps will be symmetrical to those of Russia. Ceasefire will be met with ceasefire, and Russian strikes will be met with our own defenses. We are documenting every Russian violation of its self-declared commitment to full ceasefire for the Easter period, and are prepared to provide the necessary information to our partners, Zelensky said. Either Putin does not have full control over his army, or the situation proves that in Russia they have no intention of making a genuine move toward ending the war, and are only interested in favorable PR coverage. Zelensky also repeated his calls to pressure Moscow to genuinely commit to a ceasefire for 30 days, rather than simply during an Easter holiday, which they could even do. So, Russian FPV drone attacks targeting civilians were also reported in Ukraine's southern Kherson Oblast after the Easter ceasefire came into effect, with at least 4 people reported injured and 1 person killed. So, wow, you can't take Putin's word for it. Surprise! Who would have thought? The guy has no shame. He started an illegal war to begin with. Well, I don't know if it's illegal or not, but he invaded a country with no warning, well,
there was warning.
His belly, maybe. No, the warning was we're here and we're kicking your door in. That there was no like, hey, we're gonna attack you on Tuesday. They didn't do that. Okay. They didn't proclaim war. They didn't say Ukraine, we're coming for you, unless you consider Crimea the warning. In 2014.
He's been doing it for years, though. He's been saying Ukraine belongs to us.
I guess so. In different news about leaders of countries.
Non sequitur.
Oh, you want to have non sequitur?
Non sequitur. Putin still has bad hair. Anyway, back to your stories.
He's mostly bald. So yeah.
Yeah.
Not surprising.
That's his.
Of course, somebody bald like him. Let's just put all the bald people in one box.
And he's short. Don't forget short. Yeah.
All right, but at least he rode that horse shirtless or something as some sort of.
Yeah. That was probably
whatever that was.
CGI.
I don't know what that was. I don't know why that was happening. Anyways. Dutch leader of the party, a current power coalition in
all the fascists in America all excited.
Yeah. The current Dutch leader of the party's ruling coalition, I should say, has decided to quit politics, citing burnout. This is from Molly Quayle on AP News, coming out of The Hague. Dutch center-right leader Peter Omtzigt announced Friday, so that was 19th? Yes. No, sorry, the 18th of April, that he was quitting both the fragile 4-party ruling coalition and national politics, citing his mental health. The 51-year-old said in a social media video that he's unable to recover from the burnout in the current political climate. It was a huge honor, privilege to be a member of the parliament for more than 21 years, Omtzigt said in the surprise move, but the toll has been quite high. That is why I'm choosing to put my family first for the first time, and to choose my own health. His new social contract party, founded just 2 years ago, is the 4th largest in the Dutch parliament and formed part of the ruling coalition after months of negotiations last year. The government seemed on the brink of collapse over spring budget talks this week. In the previous 9 months, it was nearly toppled after the resignation of the finance state secretary over what she saw as a denigrating comments on immigrants and the refusal of the immigration minister to sign up on honors for volunteers who work with refugees. Just like, okay, we just hate immigrants now, good luck. Known for his sharp tongue and fiery anti-Islam rhetoric, the hard-right leader Geert Wilders, who helms the largest party in the parliament, was considered too controversial to lead the country, but often dominates political negotiations. To be fair, he did try ruling the country last time his party won, and then it broke up completely and just didn't do anything, and it was like, yeah, you can't lead a party, dude. You suck. Omtzigt leaving the party in the hands of his deputy Nicolien van Ronhoven, who took over in September when he was on medical leave. His fall departure was the second time he'd stepped back from his duties for his mental health. Must be, it's mentally draining to deal with Geert Wilders all the time. This dude just hates Muslims and immigrants. You can't talk to him. That's all he has. All that comes out of his mouth is, well, it was the Muslims' fault. Oh, no, actually, we need to... I don't have it probably couldn't find it if I looked for it, but I saw a video from the House where a prime minister, not the prime minister, a MP was basically saying our government's not doing shit for anybody. All you guys do is yell about immigration and refugees and Muslims, but you're not actually solving any problems people in our country need solved. People who you're supposed to be working for. You know, you're not doing any of that. You're just yelling about immigrants all day long and trying to get them out of here. Well, people's infrastructure or, you know, whatever the government's supposed to be doing. Nothing, supposedly. Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof wished Omzicht well. The Hague is losing a passionate and dedicated MP, a true representative of the people. I thank him for his efforts and our collaboration in recent times, Schoof said on social media. A former member of the center-right Christian Democrats, Omzicht's new social contract party immediately rocketed up opinion polls thanks to his reputation as a tireless crusader for whistleblowers and victims of government scandals. His key policy platform was reforming the Dutch political system that has been tarnished in recent years by scandals, including the country's tax office wrongly labeling thousands of children welfare recipients as fraudsters. All those children stole money! He became a sensation during drawn-out talks to form the last Dutch coalition government when one of the negotiators was photographed carrying papers that include the text, "Job elsewhere" next to his name. It was widely seen as a sign that the established political order wanted to be rid of the man who had long been a thorn in their side, and it only served to bolster Omzicht's popularity. But now he has actually been completely taken out. Whether or not they bullied him, you know, like, let's overwork him and cause him to have burnout so he leaves. I have no idea. That could be its own political maneuvering. But there's your news coming out of political Europe. I'll have more, don't worry. There's more coming.
more politics of the Europe.
Yeah.
I always find it interesting that hegemony is so, you know, just like, oh, we all need to be the same.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see why that's such a great freaking thing. It wants to be the same. It wants to see the same thing every day. Anyway.
I don't know. For me, it's the same people who like their houses to be like white and black and all their walls white, and I'm just like, ugh. Nobody lives here, you know?
What?
Yeah.
We have 2.5 children. We're perfect.
Exactly. All right, let me roll the wheel for my segue.
Illegal for Pope Francis, as they're going to update. Pope Francis has been teetering for a week. His last official act was to snub J.D. Vance. I like that. That was actually cool. Yeah. Well, he was dying, so who wants to see J.D. Vance, the last person they talk to? Oh my God.
All right, I've got an alliteration headline.
Alliteration headline from Pope Francis. Pope passes.
Don't make anything.
There you go. There's
my job.
Right there.
You make one, then I.
VA. This is from Vatican News. Pope Francis has died on Easter Monday at age 88. I thought he died yesterday.
You just sent me a video, I'm guessing? That's what that sound was?
Yeah, I sent you a video. At 9:45 a.m., Cardinal Kevin Farrell, Camerlengo, that's a word, of the Holy Roman Church announced the death of Pope Francis from the Casa Santa Marta with these words. Dearest brothers and sisters, with deep sorrow I must announce the death of our Holy Father Francis at 7:35 this morning. The Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the house of the Father. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and of His Church. He taught us to live the values of the gospel with fidelity, courage, and universal love, especially in favor of the poorest and most marginalized. With immense gratitude for his example as a true disciple of the Lord Jesus, we commend the soul of Pope Francis to the infinite merciful love of the one and true God. Oh, don't forget that. They know the real God is. The Pope was admitted to the Agostino Garnelli Polyclinic Hospital on Friday, February 14th, 2025, after suffering a bout of bronchitis for several days. Pope Francis' critical situation gradually worsened as doctors diagnosed bilateral pneumonia on Tuesday, February 18th. After 38 days in the hospital, the late Pope returned to his Vatican residence at the Casa Santa Marta to continue his recovery. In 1957, in his early 20s, Jorge Mario Bergoglio underwent surgery in his native Argentina to remove a portion of his lung that had been infected by a severe respiratory infection. As he aged, Pope Francis frequently suffered bouts of respiratory illnesses, even canceling a planned visit to the United Arab Emirates in November of 23 due to influenza and lung inflammation. In April 2024, the late Pope Francis approved an updated edition of the liturgical book up for papal funeral rites, which will guide the funeral mass, which has yet to be announced. The second edition of the Ordo Equestriarum Romani Palafictis, I guess that's what it says, introduces several new elements, including how the Pope's mortal remains are to be handled after death. The ascertainment of death takes place in the chapel rather than in the room where he died, and his body is immediately placed inside the coffin. According to the Archbishop Diego Rovelli, master apostolic ceremonies, the late Pope Francis had requested that the funeral rites be simplified and focused on expressing the faith in the Church in the risen body of Christ. The renewed rite, said Bishop Rovelli, seeks to emphasize even more than the funeral of the Roman Pontiff is that the pastor and the disciple of Christ is not of a powerful person of this world. Okay, there you go. There's the ceremony information, somewhat. And the Pope, you don't have to give me a headline now, but you could. No?
Passing
Okay.
Pope perishes.
It's bad. Of course he perished. Okay. All right.
Well, he's passing, and now
Euro
he's perished.
news.
You know, he's completely gone now. He's
Okay. All right, here's another story. That's the recent news. Here's another story updating the Secretary of Defense being an idiot. This is from Euronews.com. Hegseth shared airstrike details in second Signal Chat media report. This is a 3-minute story from Euronews. According to multiple media reports, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth created a second Signal group chat, which included his wife and brother, where he shared information of military airstrike in March on Yemen's Houthi militants. The latest revelations comes after it emerged in late March that Hegseth had also shared strike details in a separate chat with top administration officials and apparently in error, a journalist. The existence of a second chat was initially reported by the New York Times and later confirmed separately by CNN. A person familiar with the chat's content and individuals received the messages also confirmed the chat to the Associated Press. The chat includes 13 people, according to the source, and was named Defense Team Huddle. According to the New York Times report, the group included Hegseth's wife, Fox News producer Jennifer Hegseth. Fox News, what a shock. His wife works for Fox News.
Surprise!
Oh my God. What a fucked up country. And his brother, Phil Hegseth, who works at the Pentagon as the Department of Homeland Security liaison and senior advisor. Otherwise, he sits around and plays solitaire on his computer all day.
Yeah.
The White House rejected the veracity of the report, referring to it as a non-story, yeah, right, and suggesting that it was spread by disgruntled former Pentagon employees. No matter how many times the legacy of try to resurrect same not story, they can't. The same non-story. Okay, it's a non-story that we're leaking vital defense information. Live war plans you're leaking. That's a non-story. You know, it's
just
a non-story.
Don't talk about it. Nobody will know, obviously. So just stop talking about it.
Yeah. The latest revelation regarding the sensitive information on military action being communicated via Signal, a commercially available app that is not considered appropriate for sharing sensitive or classified national defense information, has brought a fresh wave of criticism against Hegseth and Stinky the Clown's administration in general, which took no action against national top security officials to discuss plans on the app. Of course, same administration just fired hundreds of people for just doing their jobs and called them DEI hires. It's not going to fire anybody for a massive intelligence failure. And Pentagon watchdogs said said at the time it is reviewing the defense secretary's use of publicly available encrypted app as well as that of other defense officials. Well, it don't matter to me. I mean, we're working with Russia anyway. You might as well just leak them all their secrets, right? Of course, then there's the people that we don't want the secrets leaked to are also going to get them, but whatever, it's Trump. Who cares?
Well, there's also people you don't want people to know that you're actually leaking the secrets of Russia because it's in the government, because they'll know. No?
I'd hate to be in the military. I'd hate to be in the military on an operation that I thought was secret, and we're going to get totally fucking annihilated because it all got leaked by this idiot. The contents of the chat published by The Atlantic showed that Hegseth listed weapons, systems, and warplane launch times that related to an attack on Iran backed Houthis in Yemen. Hegseth himself maintained that no classified information or war plans were shared, which is complete horseshit. There's your story. Where's your headlines?
Well, sounds like we've got a lazy leak. Lazy leak. Third word.
Like a lazy headline writer. I got.
Well, I'm doing other things in the background, like trying to download this video that won't get downloaded.
I'm joking.
No, I just can't think of a third word. This is one of my weaknesses, is recalling vocabulary. My brain, not so good at it.
That's why they invented the pen.
Yeah, and I don't have anything to write on or a pen, so it wouldn't matter.
That's why they invented preparation.
Yeah, okay, boomer. Writing on with a pen and pencil to write it. I just use my keyboard. I'm on a computer.
Well, apparently it's broken too.
Well, because I wasn't, like I said, I was too busy doing other things.
All right.
Anyways, let's roll our wheel for another thing. Another segue. Alright, give me a hypothetical question about whatever I'm reading. I already forgot my news stories because I just woke up. Okay. Romania's presidential re-election, they're redoing the election because they determined that there was some nefarious things going on. And they need to try again. This is from Stephen McGrath and Nicolae Dumatrash on AP News, coming out of Bucharest. Romania's presidential election redo next month will be a high-stakes test for the European Union members' democracy, after last year's annulled vote triggered the country's deepest political crisis since 1989. Great. Romania's Constitutional Court annulled the election on December 6th, after the far-right outsider Călin Georgescu topped first-round polls. The decision followed allegations of electoral violations and a Russian campaign promoting Georgescu, who is now under investigation and barred from the rerun. Moscow has denied it meddled. Yeah, why would anyone? Like, they only ever say that 20, 50, 70 years later. Oh yeah, that was us, by the way. Now that it was 70 years ago, we'll tell you it was us. I'm not gonna tell you, right? Oh, you caught us. Red-handed. What happened last year was very serious, and at that time completely anti-democratic. Elena Lasconi, who came second to enter the runoff last year and is participating in the election, told the Associated Press. It was not justified, in my opinion. Once a communist state until the end of the Cold War, Romania has spent decades trying to build strong democratic institutions, but last year's annulled election shattered public trust, and it could take years to repair the damage. Says who? Who's saying that? The author of this article, I guess? I think the public trust in political parties, in public institutions, in the state generally was quite low, said Septimius Parvu, coordinator of the electoral program at Expert Forum, a pro-democracy think tank. This dislocated even more the trust. It created an earthquake which would leave marks in the long term of trust in democracy. Many feel Romanian authorities had not sufficiently explained what happened last year, which has left voters to wonder whether this will be the final election, Parvu added. Complicating Lasconi's chances in the rerun, her Save Romania Union Party, or USR, withdrew its support for her last week in favor of incumbent Bucharest Mayor Nicusar Dan, claiming he has a stronger chance of winning the presidency. Lasconi labeled colleagues who moved against her as a coup plotters. She said it adds to the chaos in the wake of last year's election debacle, which has already left many Romanians disillusioned. None of the state institutions have assured us that we'll have fair elections, she said. People said in the streets, our votes don't count. Cristian Andrei, a political consultant based in Bucharest, says there is an underlying social discontent with what that could explode again, unless political parties and candidates start to speak to all segments of society. The underlying issue is Romania is the widespread public dissatisfaction with the political class, he said. It's important to keep reminding the public of what happened, that we were facing a campaign that attempted to hijack Romania's democracy using unorthodox and illegal means. Georgescu's stunning rise from polling in the single digits to leading the first round shocked many observers, why they thought there's something weird going on. The Russia-friendly candidate, who has praised fascist figures from Romania's past, not only unnerved Brussels, but raised urgent questions about foreign interference in European elections. Like other EU countries, the far-right vote in recent years has grown in Romania, fueled by widespread anti-establishment sentiment. After Georgescu was barred from the redo, Romania's far right, which holds about a third of the legislative seats, scrambled to find a successor. Up stepped George Simeon, the leader of the Alliance of Unity of Romanians, or AUR, who came fourth in last year's race and later backed Georgescu. The second biggest party in the legislature, AUR, proclaims that stand for family, nation, faith, and freedom. Simeon has drawn criticism in the past due to anti-EU rhetoric and remarks against continued aid to Ukraine and neighboring countries like Moldova. He is banned from entering over security concerns. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, what's happening here is that you have people who want to run who are obviously pro-fascism, right? And they're saying you can't run, dude, you're a fascist. What do you mean? What about freedom to elect who should serve? Fascists, once they become leaders, will no longer allow democracy. You see how that counters the whole point of having an election, right? Like, if you elect a fascist, you're just destroying your own democracy. But, freedom to be elected. Romania's decision to annul the election and then ban Georgescu's candidacy has been strongly criticized by U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, and Moscow. People you already know. I mean, if they're siding with you, you're on the bad side, okay? We want to draw lines here. If those guys agree with you, everyone else is like, no way.
Yeah.
Don't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
If I said something and Trump or Vance agreed with it, or Musk, I would have to rethink my own position.
Exactly.
Like, wait a minute.
Wait, whose side? Am I the baddie? Am I the baddie?
Wow.
Geopolitically, we are all in a very complicated situation, Lasconi warned. 11 candidates are participating in the first round, which is scheduled for May 4th. So if you're Romanian and you happen to be watching this, please vote on May 4th and May 18th when the runoff will be held. And they need to have 50% of the ballots for the runoff in May 18th. So if no candidate wins more than 50% of the ballot, they have to do another election on May 18th. Other key candidates include Don, the Bucharest mayor, running independently under the campaign slogan Honest Romania, and Corin Antonescu, who is backed by Romania's government coalition, and is running a Romania Forward platform. Victor Ponta, a former prime minister between 2012 and 2015, who resigned after a fatal nightclub fire, is running on a MAGA-style Romania First ticket and boasts of having close ties to convicted felon Donald Trump. So, if you see Ponta, do not vote for that guy. Romania, please don't do it. After last year's events, data from local surveys should be taken with caution. Given concerns about politicization, still a median poll suggests a runoff could pit far-right Simeon against either Don Ponta or Antonescu. A Simeon presidency could threaten EU unity as the war rages on in neighboring Ukraine. This is compounded by Trump's attempts to forge closer ties with Russian President Vladimir Putin. I don't even know why we still call him a president, but Russian dictator Putin, as he seeks to end the war in Ukraine. In the wake of the annulled election, the role social media allegedly played in Georgescu's success came under intense scrutiny when declassified Romanian intelligence pointed to coordinated foreign interference via the Chinese-owned video-sharing platform TikTok. The case highlighted the threat large-scale media platforms can pose to liberal democracies, and the EU Commission responded by launching an ongoing probe into TikTok to determine whether it violated EU's Digital Service Act in failing to deal with risks to the Romanian election. TikTok said it dismantled covert influence networks targeting Romanians in December. Yeah, well, that was a bit too late, because the whole point is that it happened in December. Including over 27,000 accounts, which posted comments en masse via a fake engagement vendor promoting the AUR party and Georgescu. So somebody paid a bunch of bots to go, I'm voting for Georgescu. That's my guy. And then everyone says, oh, he must be good if everyone's voting for him. Because as we all know, as much it would be nice if elections were just, you make a educated determining who you're going to vote for. Mostly it's a popularity contest. If you get enough people thinking about your name, they're going to vote for you. Because they're like, oh, I don't recognize any of these guys except for that one. I recognize that George guy. Oh, he's a fascist? I didn't know because TikTok just told me he was going to save Romania. In an attempt to manipulate Roman election discourse, it also removed more than 1,100 accounts impersonating presidential candidates. Oh, great. TikTok stated it has taken steps to protect Romania's election integrity, including expanded its team on Romanian-speaking content moderators, working with local fact-checking groups to combat disinformation, and an in-app tool linking to official election information. The concerns over social media, however, have led to what some critics view as undemocratic overreach by Romania's Central Election Bureau ahead of the new vote. The Bureau has drawn recent criticism for requesting takedowns of online political comments by private citizens. The political turbulence sparked large street protests and has left many voters uncertain and divided. Society is a bit divided. It's fragmented in a way as a reaction, said Octavian Fresia, a voter in Bucharest. Only an isolated society is influenced from the outside. We are economically and politically dependent on everyone. As Romania heads into one of its more critical elections since 1989, the stakes go beyond who wins the next 5-year presidency and may be viewed as a referendum on democracy. We've been divided for over 35 years, Lasconi said. Now Romania isn't just split in two. Romania is shattered into many pieces. Isn't that a rough thing to end the article on? But if you're Romanian or you know Romanians, make sure that they're voting and, that they can vote for whoever they want, but please make sure they at least vote so you can get a true classification of who is going to lead the country. And, I guess the deciding factor on is it democracy or fascism? You decide. Hello?
What?
You're watching
I'm
the birds
out
the window?
No. I was just hypothetical, I guess. Maybe they should put it on the ballot. Do you want to A, join the former Soviet Union, or B, be a free democracy in the European Union? Stay there. Maybe put that on the ballot.
Make a choice now. That's what you're voting for.
Yeah, this is just voting on humans. Just vote for propositions. Just put that on the ballot.
Maybe that would be nicer. You just put what things you agree with, and then you put those all together. That would be a really interesting way to do a democratic election. I like these topics.
And I definitely would love to have Russia's economy, for instance.
All right.
Anyway,
pun
back
for
to outer
me
space,
for your story.
A pun? Okay.
Yeah.
Says everything on Earth sucks. We're going to outer space. This is ScienceDaily.com. Dark matter may be a frequency. Think about that. And we're about to dial it in. What's a frequency? It's a oscillation. It's an oscillation of energy that causes what we call a sine wave, which is really a bunch of circles.
Yeah.
Cycles like this over and over and over again. They're called radio waves. Anyway, a new cosmic radio detector could soon pick up signals from axions, potential dark matter particles, bringing scientists closer than ever to solving the mystery of the unseen mass in our universe. Scientists may be just 15 years away from finally detecting dark matter. Oh, we just gotta wait 15 years. Oh shit, I'll be 77. Finally detect them dark matter thanks to, if we can wait 4 years for Trump, I guess we can wait for Trump to get out of office. I guess we can wait 15. I don't know. Scientists diagnosed, let's just try this again. Scientists may just be 15 years away from finally detecting dark matter thanks to a new kind of detector that acts like a cosmic car radio. Designed to pick up the elusive frequency of... Why does it have to be a car radio? Can't it just be any other kind of radio? I don't understand that part. Designed to pick up the elusive frequency of axions already, not axioms. Axions, which are hypothetical particles thought to make up dark matter. This device could help unlock one of the universe's greatest mysteries. Groundbreaking materials and technology are already in place. Researchers believe it is now just a matter of scale, precision, and patience. Scientists have developed a new type of detector nicknamed a cosmic radio that could help identify dark matter within the next 15 years. I like how the story repeats the headline. I just read that. In a study published on April 16th in Nature, researchers from King's College London, Harvard University, UC Berkeley, and other institutions unveiled the foundations for what they believe could become the most precise dark matter detector yet. Dark matter is an invisible form of matter that may account for up to 85% of the mass in the universe. While its existence is inferred from gravitational effects on stars and galaxies, its true nature remains unknown. One of the leading candidates for dark matter is a hypothetical particle called an axion. These particles are thought to be extremely light and interact only weekly as in week, very weak, not in every 7 days. They interact only weakly with normal matter, making them incredibly difficult to detect. Axions are believed to behave like waves and could exist somewhere along the electromagnetic spectrum. However, scientists don't know their exact frequencies. Theories suggest axion frequencies could span a vast range from the kilohertz range, audible to humans, to the far higher terahertz range. The new study proposes a detector likened to a cosmic car radio. Once again, I don't understand why a car has to be dragged into this equation. A cosmic car radio. A radio's a radio. What's that to be in a car? I don't understand that part. Designed into the
maybe it can be like it's modular and you can just pull it out of the dashboard. Is that what they mean? I don't know. It's very small.
Probably because nobody owns a radio. Probably because nobody owns a radio anymore except the one in their car.
Yeah.
The device uses a special material to generate what the researchers call an axion quasi-particle, AQ. If successful, it could allow scientists to detect axions and potentially confirm the nature of dark matter within the next decade and a half. They put a time limit on it. After 15 years, they ain't found it, they're going to quit, I guess. I don't know. The AQ is designed so its frequency can be transmitted into space in a frequency that would match with the axion. When it identifies and tunes in to that frequency, it will emit very small amounts of light. AQ operates at the highest terahertz frequencies, which many researchers believe to be the most promising place to look for axion. Co-author Dr. David Marsh, Ernest Rutherford Fellow at King's College in London. He's the Ernest Rutherford Fellow. That's not the name of it. He sits in an office that is the Ernest Rutherford office. In other words, that's what that means. The Ernest Rutherford Fellow. He's a fellow of the Ernest Rutherford at King College in London. We can now build a dark matter detector that's essentially a cosmic car radio. They go again with the car, throwing a car into it for no reason. Tuning in the frequencies to wider galaxies until we find the axion. We already have the technology, now it's just a matter of scale and time. The team believes that by creating a much larger piece of AQ material, they can create a functioning detector in 5 years. After that, they estimate it will take another decade of scanning the spectrum of high frequencies where dark matter is thought to be hiding before they find it. To create the quadrous quasi-particles, the researchers use manganese bismuth telluride, or here's a chemical formula, MnBi2Te4, a material known for its unique electronic and magnetic properties. This was shaved down to just a two-dimensional layers of material, I suppose. There's the material over the past. Zhang Kui, lead author from Harvard University, said, because MnBI2Te4 is so sensitive to air, we need to exfoliate it down to a few atomic layers to tune its properties accurately. This means we get to see this kind of interesting physics and see how it interacts with other quantum entities like the axion, if there is such a thing. Which I don't even know there is such a thing. Dr. Marsh added, this is a really exciting time to be a dark matter researcher. There are many papers being published about how the axions are, as there are about the Higgs boson a year before it was found. Theorists proposed that axions acted like a radio frequency in 1983, and we now know we can tune into it. We're closing in on the axion, and fast. I don't know, 15 years doesn't sound like fast.
Faster than before, I think.
That's your story. That's your story on the detection of dark matter. And you're going to tell me in a pun about dark matter. Go!
Alright, my pun is... I saw an ad that said radio sale $1. Volume nub, stuck on full. I thought, I can't turn that down.
Oh,
a double. Man. It's a double there. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say, "Oh, that doesn't even matter." Not to the next step.
Okay, let's roll the wheel again.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, accurate metaphor simile for my culture's news. We're going to talk about the drama with The Who. That's right, The Who fired drummer Zach Starkey after the Royal Albert Hall performance 4 days ago, so I think that would have been Thursday? Yeah, so on the 17th of April. This is on The Guardian by Laura Snapes. The Who have parted ways with Zach Starkey, the band's drummer, since 1996. Apparently over a disagreement about his playing at the Royal Albert Hall gig last month. A representative for the band suggested the decision was mutual and came in the wake of the performance for the Teenage Cancer Trust, or TCT. The band made a collective decision to part ways with Zach after this round of shows at the Royal Albert Hall. They have nothing but admiration for him and wish him the very best for his future. The Who's Roger Daltrey is a patron of the TCT and until 2024 acted as a curator for their annual gig series at the London venue. But a review of the band's March gig in the Metro suggested that Daltrey was complaining on stage about Starkey's performance. It said that the frontmen paused their final song, "The Song Is Over," and told the audience, "To sing that song, I do need to hear the key, and I can't. All I've got is drums going boom, boom, boom. I can't sing to that. I'm sorry, guys." Well, that's not the drums' fault. That's whoever set up the
sound
levels.
Mixing.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's just sound mixing. Yeah.
Yeah, the sound mixing. Anyway, Starkey, son of the
Maybe
Beatles drummer Ringo Starr and Maureen Starkey, gave a statement to People's Magazine about his firing. "I'm very proud of my near 30 years with The Who. Filling the shoes of my godfather, Uncle Keith, the band's original drummer, Keith Moon, has been the biggest honor, and I have remained their biggest fan. They've been like family to me. After playing those songs with the band for so many decades, I'm surprised and saddened anyone could have an issue with my performance that night. But what can you do?" He continued, referencing the London gig. Starkey had appeared to be aware that the news was coming, and not on the warm terms shared by The Who's representative when he shared a tongue-in-cheek post on Instagram on the weekend. Beneath the photo of himself and Daltrey, Starkey wrote, and in all caps, "Heard today from inside the source that Toger Darkdray..." Why did he spell his name Toger? That's so funny. Leading singer and principal songwriter of the group, unhappy with Zach, the drummer's performance at the Albert Hall a few weeks ago, is bringing forward charges of overplaying and is literally going to Zach, the drummer. Very funny. That's a pun in itself. Starkey joined the band full-time in the 1996 Quadrophenia tour. He was introduced to drumming by Keith Moon, a family friend who gave him a drum kit for his 8th birthday. Starkey has also played with Oasis, although the lineup for the band's upcoming reunion tour is yet to be officially announced. Johnny Marr, the Lightning Seeds Lion Robbie, and his own father. He performs his recently formed supergroup Mantra of the Cosmos, also featuring Sean Ryder and Bez of the Happy Mondays and Black Grape, and Andy Bell of Oasis and Ride. In January, the band was forced to cancel a live date when Starkey suffered a blood clot in his leg. "This is now completely healed and does not affect my drumming or running," he said in a statement to People. Starkey said he now planned to take some much needed time off with his family and focus on the release of Domino Bones by Mantra of the Cosmos with Noel Gallagher in May, and finishing his autobiography written solely by me. Yes, that is how autobiographies work.
Yeah.
I think he's just trying to say there's no ghostwriter. Like, I wrote this myself, okay? No ghostwriter helped me. But in the big twist, here we go. This is why I covered that story from Thursday, because today they have been notified that Zach Starkey has been reinstated as the Who's drummer. Only not even a week later, right? A weekend happened. Maybe they all got high together, and then he said, "Why did we kick you out of the band, man?"
I don't even think Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend do any drugs anymore.
Whatever. I'm just saying. This is from Nadeem Badshaw on The Guardian again. Zach Starkey has been reinstated as the Who's drummer just days after parting the company with the band. The group announced earlier this week that Starkey, the band's drummer since 1996, was leaving, and then they're back again. The representative of the band had suggested the decision was mutual, but obviously it wasn't. The Who's guitarist and songwriter Pete Townsend said on Saturday that the 59-year-old had been welcomed back into the fold. Townsend said in a statement, "He is not being asked to step down from the Who. There have been some communication issues, personal and private on all sides, that need to be dealt with, and these have been aired happily. Roger Daltrey and I would like Zach to tighten up his latest evolved drumming style to accommodate our non-orchestral lineup, and he has readily agreed. I take responsibility for some of the confusion. Our TCT shows at the Royal Albert Hall were a little tricky for me. I thought that 4.5 weeks would be enough time to recover completely for having a complete knee replacement. Why did I ever think I could land on my knees? Wrong! Maybe we didn't put enough time into the sound checks, giving us problems on stage. The sound in the center of the stage is always the most difficult to work with. Roger did nothing wrong but fiddle with his ear monitors. Zach made a few mistakes and he apologized, albeit with a rubber duck drummer." Starkey wrote on social media, "Very grateful to be part of the Who family thanks to Roger and Pete. XX." A review of the Metro of the gig said that they saw Daltrey complaining, which we've already talked about. "I can't hear anything." That doesn't seem like it was the drummer's fault. Definitely just seems like the sound engineer needed to lower the drums, higher the audio, the singing, so he could hear himself sing to "The Song Is Over." But it's all good now, and we'll see if in a week he'll get kicked out again. I don't know. This does seem like just a miscommunication.
Ironic that he stopped in the middle of a song called "The Song Is Over" to say, "The song is over."
Yeah, the song is over.
Because we have to fire the drummer.
Yeah. But that's my story.
That's a metaphor. Well, the drummer is like the foundation of a building, right? And a drummer and a bass player. Never forget the bass player is also gone. John Entwistle died a bunch of years ago. They don't even mention who the bass player is now, which is funny because for years the Who was known for having a lead bass player. Like the bass player wasn't just going boom, 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 boom. He was going all over the place, right?
Proper playing.
They never replaced him. So anyway, that is like the foundation of a building. There's your metaphor. The rhythm section. The bass and the drums.
All right, let me roll my last segue here, and we can get into this day in history. Good haiku. Let's go.
Haiku, all right. Too bad you have to glom it together with a whole bunch of different stories from all different walks of life. That's the nature of this day in history. As we dial back, we're going way back to the year 1509 with the death of Henry VII. His oldest surviving son assumed the British throne as Henry VIII. Clever name. I'm Henry VIII. I am Henry VIII. I am. I got married to the widow next door. She got married 7 times before, and everyone was a Henry. Anyway, there's your Henry VIII song. Everyone was a Henry. You're supposed to yell, Henry!
Henry, I don't know that song, actually. I've never heard it.
You wouldn't have a Willie RSM. You're supposed to say, RSM. I'm her 8th old man. I'm Henry. Henry VIII I am. There you go. Second verse, same as the first. Then you start over. Anyway, 1526, Biber, the ruler of Kabul, led Mughal forces to victory against Sultan Ibrahim Lodi, establishing the Mughal dynasty in India. That happened in 1526. On this day in 1782, Friedrich Froebel, German educational reformer and founder of kindergarten, was born in Oberweisbach, Thuringia. What the hell is that? Is that part of Germany? It's got to be, right?
Yeah, it's probably one of the regions before they had the German unification or something. It was one of the regions.
Because he was born in 1789, 82. There was no German, whatever you want to call it, a democratic republic or whatever.
Royal
1789
Empire, whatever.
In 1780, yeah, something like that. The Holy Roman Empire. That's what Germany was for a long time. 1789, John Adams was sworn as the first vice president of the United States 9 days before George Washington's presidential inauguration. We had a vice president before we had a president. That's interesting. In 1800, French forces under General Jean-Baptiste Kettler, what does that say? Kleber, recaptured. Let me put my glasses on. Recaptured Cairo and initiated the brief French occupation of Egypt. Some of these words are hard to decipher because they're in different colored font. They changed it to blue. For some reason, my eyes run blue letters together.
Yeah.
Light blue. In 1830, James Starley, an inventor and father of the bicycle industry, was born in Albourne, Sussex, England. So happy birthday to the bicycle guy. 1836, General Sam Houston led 800 Texans to a victory over a Mexican army of 1,500 under General Antonio Lopez de Santillana in the Battle of San Jacinto, ensuring the Texans' independence from Mexico. So that's what happened on this day in 1836. 1838, American naturalist and writer John Muir was born in Scotland. He was an advocate of U.S. forest conservation, largely responsible for the establishment of both Sequoia National Park and Yosemite National Park in California. 1918, Manfred Friar Baron von Richthofen, Germany's top flying ace in World War II, was shot down and killed during a battle near Amiens, France. And of course, he was shot down by Snoopy the Beagle. 1934.
Reporting that like a real.
Well, they were always fighting. I assume Snoopy finally got him. 1934, the Daily Mail printed a photograph that reportedly depicted a small-headed neck of a Loch Ness monster. The iconic image, widely known as the surgeon's photograph, sparked an international sensation, but was later revealed to be a hoax. Yeah, the Loch Ness monster. Still haven't found them. 1966, the Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie I, believed to be the second coming of Christ by many Rastas, arrived in Jamaica for a visit, an event since celebrated annually as the Rastafari as Groundation Day. That's right, if you're Rastafarian, you think Haile Selassie was the second coming of Christ. Smoke enough weed, you'll believe anything. 1977, Annie, a popular musical based on the newspaper comic strip Little Orphan Annie, first opened on Broadway. 1986, the much-hyped television special American journalist Geraldo Rivera opened a vault that was found in the former headquarters of Chicago gangster Al Capone. However, he and the estimated 30 million TV viewers discovered that it was empty.
Oh.
Yeah, the famous Geraldo Rivera Al Capone vault special. It was advertised. Oh, we're opening up, and oh, there's nothing in it. 1990, Russian-born artist and fashion designer Urte, a major figure in Art Deco, created spectacular costumes and set design for French music hall venues or reviews, died at the age of 97. Got to be 97. And sad news, in 2016, American musician Prince died on this day in 2016. Prince, who created groundbreaking music that fused funk, rhythm, blues, rock and roll, pop, and was one of the biggest stars of the 80s and 90s, died at the age of 57 from an accidental overdose of fentanyl.
Uh-oh.
Fentanyl, the great equalizer. The great equalizer. Somebody should give Leon Musk the big old pile of fentanyl.
Okay.
Say, hey, I bet you can't snort all this, Leon. You think you're smart?
I don't think you snort it, but yeah, okay.
Who cares, as long as he dies?
Oh my god.
I'm a mean old man.
You're
I'm a mean
joking,
old man. I'm mean
okay? Do not sue us.
I'm joking. Don't sue us.
According to OC,
wanted-
Prince isn't dead. He just went back to Kepler. So he went home. He went back to his home planet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where he is. I thought he'd be hanging out with Elvis, but I guess not. Elvis and Marilyn Monroe are still
And Michael
living up
Jackson and
wherever
all of the people we can't let go.
Island.
Yeah.
Jim Morrison, John Lennon, JFK Jr., all of them. Of course, we can't say JFK Sr. isn't dead because we've seen his head get blown off. So we know that one was real.
Okay.
Well, that's what we saw. I mean, come on. It's been part of my life, my entire life, so. 2002 featured event is, well, we're going to France for this one. This is French elections held. French President Jacques Chirac faced a re-election challenge on this day in 2002 from extremist Jean-Marie Le Pen. Le Pen was around then being a pain in the ass. In the first round of presidential voting.
Because it's Marine Le Pen.
But in the first round,
probably his daughter.
Okay. Probably. But 2 weeks later, handily defeated him to win a second term. Jacques Chirac still quite popular in France.
Yeah.
Our featured biography is Elizabeth II. And happy birthday to Queen Elizabeth II. She would be 99 today if she was still kicking. Well, she still is 99. She just doesn't know it. April 21st, 1926 was her birthday. She died September 8th in 22. That's already been almost 3 years. She died at Balmoral Castle in Scotland.
Her favorite castle. So.
Yeah, her favorite Scottish castle has a squat on all that land they're not entitled to because we're royalty. And our featured biographies of featured birthdays: Max Weber, German sociologist born in 1864. Anthony Quinn, Mexican-American actor who played Zorba the Greek. He was born in 1915. In 1926, Elizabeth II, we did that one. Anwar el-Awlaki, American radical cleric, born in 1970.
A radical cleric, okay.
And happy birthday to Tony Romo. Tony Romo turning 45 today. American football player, not the rib guy. Tony Romo, born in 1980, so he's turning 45. That'd be 45th to Tony Romo and National Day calendar as we get this thing done. It's National Kindergarten Day. No surprise, the person who invented kindergarten is his birthday. National Chocolate Covered Cashews. I forgot to bring my big bag of cashews out, but I probably would need help carrying it.
It's so heavy.
It's National Rendering Day. What the hell is Rendering Day? That's when you cook fat until it's no longer anything that you can recognize as food. You render it down. You can make candles out of it.
You just melt fat down into like a soup, Yeah.
Yeah, you render the hell out of it. Render. And it's National Yellow Bat Day, which I have to look up because it looks like the Batman thing.
Oh.
Broadcast across the sky. I'm sorry, it plays music in my headphones.
Yellow bat.
National Yellow Bat Day. On this day in 1967, the Army activated the 265th Army Security Agency Company with the 101st Airborne Division. Okay, and the official insignia of the 265th is the bat with outstretched wings and a full moon, rising with the motto, "Through the night below." Symbolically, the bat represents mystery and secrecy due to its nocturnal nature. The bat fittingly describes the intelligence support provided by the Army Security Agency Battalion. There you go. They move.
Happy those guys. If you're part of the 265th RRC, congratulations.
Night is
Yay.
Wheel, your mispronunciations, your bad readings of the news, bad government. For April 21st, 2025 on legitimately before chocolate covered cashews.
He's about to go eat all of them in one go.
Yeah.
I don't like cashews, so you can have all of them. It's fine. This has been Allison here. Oh,
Not
wait.
even covered in dark chocolate?
Let's do my haiku first, which will be, I have actually multiple lines of haiku because we were talking about kindergarten. So,
Okay.
gentle hands hold tiny books, learning precious gift born, kindling minds so bright now. In Germany's heartland once, a strict ruler held sway tight. Frederick Williams' decree banned the free spirit song. Shadows fell on the land. Education's light did dim. Yes, that's right. The Prussian president or Prussian ruler at the time banned, because if you read the kindergarten national day, he banned kindergarten.
Really?
He was like, "This shit's weird, Frobel. We're banning that. That's unorthodox methods of teaching our children." But of course now, it is the orthodox way to teach children. If you're not sending your children to kindergarten, you're the weirdo. So, anyways, it's also...
kindergarten is where everybody can catch the measles.
Woohoo! It's also International UN observance of World Creativity Innovation Day. So there may be no universal understanding of creativity. The concept is open to interpretation from artistic expression to problem solving in the context of economic, social, and sustainable development. Therefore, the UN decreed 21st of April as World Creativity and Innovation Day to raise awareness of the role of creativity and innovation in all aspects of human development. So go out there, innovate, create some cool things, develop your culture into something everyone can relate to, and support artists. Pay artists and support artists and say no to AI art. Woo! Yeah, exactly. This has been Alison here from the Netherlands and Roger from the East Coast of the US as we finish up another mucking fun day. I hope nobody's too I don't know if you can get smoking from smoking too much, if you wake up the next day and you're like, "Oh, I feel not high anymore." I don't know. I've never participated in 420, but I hope your 420s were good if you do. And thank you everyone for stopping by and watching this live. We will see you tomorrow for Good Tues News Day. We'll cover all the good news we can find, all the positive news, things that make you feel good about being alive. So make sure you're subscribed to the Allie channel and turn on that notification so you know when we go live tomorrow, so you don't miss all that good news. Now, let's go to our mic drop moment. Oh my god.
Yeah. Cut the head thing.
Yeah, look at that.
They're all hooked to the same.
Yeah.
Look at that.
How big was the bong they used to fill these up?
Oh, it's a hookah. It's a hookah with water bottles adapted.
Some people putting a bandana on. They're fighting over it. I don't want to get hot box. Oh, look, Mario's there.
Contact high just walking by that park.
Mario Tanuki
Washington Park.
This is
Washington
in New York,
Square
right?
Park in New York City.
Yeah.
And he's just doing the blunt.
Level the fuck up, he says.
Skinny side, okay?
What is that? That's an interesting bunch of vape pens. Oh, hell, look at that. That is an illegal amount of weed right
You
there.
can't smell it.
You work for High Time?
420, it's sunny and it's fun.
What do we call it again? Jazz cigarettes? A nice jazz cigarette.
There you go. There's your 420.
Beautiful, look at that.
Banjo.
Yeah.
It's a glass blower. So, amazing color. Beautiful piece. Owned by my buddy.
Can't remember his buddy's name, but that, yeah.
Basically, she's a one-of-a-kind piece of art that we all
Yeah,
enjoy
that would
for 420.
agree. She's definitely one of kind piece of art.
$100,000 smoke.
She's still taking the
So weed is the communal drug. It's the one that you
Not
get
the
together.
candelabra. With joint. Are they throwing free weed?
Dude,
into
just
the
throw the
crowd?
bag of weed. Some guys just throwing bags of weed around.
I find it
There you
interesting
go,
that a
man.
majority of the people, at least in this video, are men, though. Isn't that? All the women are sitting down and
Yeah, that-
smoking, and all the men are running around in the
You're
crowd.
making an assumption based that I'm looking at the crowd, which I don't think your assumption is.
Well, assumptions aren't accurate. They're assumptions, so they can be inaccurate.
Scan my phone now, leave it alone. Come on, man, pull up, man. We ain't
True.
too good for free, because if it's free, it's for me.
What's he doing? He's talking to himself.
Maybe the guy with the camera.
$10.
Maybe the guy camera could only get guys on camera to talk. Can only get their permission to use it.
All right, you don't have to like hold on to this one thing I said for the whole.
God. Just making a point, man. Hey, there's what's his name?
I don't know. What's his
Can't
name?
think of his name. The Manitowoc Minute guy. In the orange hat.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.